Good day, I'm Theodore Henry, and this is your JIS News for Wednesday, March 22, 2023. 95% of public sector workers have accepted the government's restructured compensation package. Minister of Finance and the Public Service, Dr. Nigel Clark, made the announcement as he closed the 2023-2024 budget debate in Parliament yesterday. He thanked civil servants for accepting the compensation package, allowing government and the country to avert the fiscal risk that would have arisen from not wrapping up the agreements before this fiscal year ends on March 31.
I thank all members of the public service, which number 105,000, Madam Speaker, who have indicated to the government acceptance of its offer, Madam Speaker. 95%, Madam Speaker, this reform is underway. What we have accomplished together, Madam Speaker, has never even been attempted before. Never been attempted, let alone done.
The restructuring exercise is intended to overhaul the system of salaries and other emoluments in the public service to make it more equitable. The new structure comprises 16 pay scales in the core civil service instead of 325. There are also 3 additional scales for teachers, healthcare practitioners, and security forces that are aligned to the core scale.
We expect that, certainly for the groups who have signed, the retroactive payments will be paid out this month. It may not come on the 25th clearly because a lot of agreements were just signed. Some of them have been signed today. Today's the 21st. But we will endeavor that the funds will leave the consolidated fund by the end of the month.
The restructuring exercise assures public officers a 20% increase on their wages over 3 years from fiscal year 2022-2023 to 2024-2025. Government, through the Port Authority of Jamaica PAJ, is exploring measures to expand the storage area and reduce congestion at the Port of Kingston. Prime Minister Andrew Holness says the PAJ is now in negotiations with the concession operator of the Port of Kingston, Kingston Freeport Terminal Limited, to lease sections of the westlands between the port and the Portmore Causeway. The Port Authority has also developed plans to build out more near-port logistics, assembly, and light manufacturing facilities. Tinson Pen is now the only land available to facilitate the near-port logistics expansion.
I have directed the Port Authority, the Airports Authority, and the NWA to develop a comprehensive plan to enable the use of the Tinson Pen lands for this purpose.
Mr. Holness says this will involve the transfer of operations of the Tinson Pen Aerodrome to the Norman Manley International Airport. Marcus Garvey Drive will also be realigned to run behind the Tinson Pen lands, releasing approximately 100 acres of land to be seamlessly incorporated into the curtilage of the port.
These 2 developments, along with the ongoing work on the Caymanas Special Economic Zone, will set the stage for a doubling of the capacity of the Port of Kingston and fulfill the shared vision of Jamaica becoming a logistics hub.
Prime Minister Holness was making his contribution to the budget debate recently. Bids submitted for construction of the new Houses of Parliament are currently being evaluated. Prime Minister Andrew Holness says the intention is to break ground in the first quarter of fiscal year 2023-2024 and start construction by the second quarter. June 2025 is the estimated completion timeline.
The new Parliament building will become the fulcrum of development to transform downtown Kingston. Madam Speaker, I will be declaring the Parliament construction a national strategic project to signal the importance and priority nature of the project.
The Urban Development Corporation UDC will manage the construction of the new Houses of Parliament building at National Heroes Park. The Ministry of Agriculture will be increasing funds and setting up more drip irrigation systems in a continuous effort to assist farmers in dealing with the consequences of drought. During a recent farm tour in St. Elizabeth, Portfolio Minister Pernell Charles Jr. praised the farmers for the tactics they had been using in the parish. The tour included stops in the communities of Nain, Junction, Top Hill, Malvern, and Flagaman.
We saw this sustainable cycle at work, Grow Smart in action, where there is the connectivity between the water harvesting, the capturing in the micro dams or the earthens, and leading to targeted drip irrigation, which allows for you to have prolonged productivity even through the prolonged drought.
Water harvesting, when that go down, we use trucking and finalize it. If you don't have no water. Like when we run out right now, we do trucking now.
Minister Charles Jr. says the tour allowed him to view the regions that were seriously impacted by the meteorological drought currently impacting the island.
Critical for us to see what we're seeing here because it shows that Jamaica is not just talking about it.
He urged farmers to keep in touch with the ministry so they can receive the assistance they require. Minister of Tourism Edmund Bartlett says more local players in the Airbnb accommodation subsector are expanding the growth of Jamaica's tourism sharing economy. He reveals that approximately 29% of the 2.6 million stopover visitors in 2022 were in Airbnb accommodations.
It means a large swath of Jamaican people with little homes, big homes, apartments, villas are now inserted in the tourism value chain, broadening therefore the range of participants in the industry, but more importantly, providing slices of this pie for a larger number of Jamaican people.
The tourism minister was speaking at the recent opening of the $1.3 billion Bengal Cove Villas, a 15-unit luxury development in St. Anne. He welcomed the new villa, adding that Jamaica had become the leading destination in the resurgence of villa experiences for visitors. Minister Bartlett is encouraging more investment by locals.
And we are going to be encouraging more and more Jamaicans to participate in this very important subsector of the industry.
And finally, Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith, says Jamaica's partnership with members of the Diaspora for the mutual development of Jamaicans here and abroad remains solid.
So the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, through this very important arm of our portfolio, along with our stakeholders, including our overseas missions and our private sector partners, will continue to enable, to foster, and to develop the relevant policies, programs, and projects to build these ties towards national development, which of course relies deeply on human capacity development.
The minister was speaking at a recent symbolic handing over ceremony for the Jamaica 60 Scholarship Awards. 16 full and partial scholarships were handed over to students at tertiary institutions, including the UWI, UTEC, CASE, and Sam Sharp Teachers College. Minister Johnson-Smith encouraged the awardees to continue being steadfast in efforts to achieve their goals.
I want to say, as you contemplate, I think for most of you, the final year of your studies, that this is the last push, and this is the last push before you start the next phase of pushing, because that's what life is about. But it's your commitment and your grit, your commitment to country, your commitment to your own personal development that will always pull you through.
And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.